In this video, I'd like to talk about what is the soft feminine and what is the dark feminine. What's the difference between them and what is your main feminine archetype between these two? And by the way, there are much more than just these two archetypes, but we'll talk about this in another video. I know that there's a lot of information about dark feminine, how to become a siren, how to become a femme fatale, but I can tell you that everybody needs this energy. And I talked about this a lot in my another video. There will be a link to it or right down below. So after watching this video, you will understand maybe your main archetype is actually a soft feminine woman. And you need the dark feminine energy only occasionally or in some short period of your time, and it's not your main archetype as well. Or if your main archetype between these two is the dark feminine woman, you will understand that maybe sometimes you need the soft feminine energy in your life, and it can change a lot in your reality in terms of relationship, in terms of your work, in terms how you work, literally, and so on. So I can tell you for sure already that these two energies are really important in every woman. So please don't fall into this popular illusion that you need to be a dark feminine woman only. I know it's attractive, I know it's seductive, and many women would like to try to be in this archetype, but naturally, maybe it's not about you. And again, you will understand more after watching this video fully. First thing first, what is the soft feminine energy? The main archetype beyond this terminology is Eve, as the second, not the first by the way, the second wife of Adam. What do we know about Eve? What kind of woman she is? She's really feminine in a way that she's really gentle and soft, and she can be really obedient to a man, and just in general. She's more passive, but it's not a bad thing, by the way, because the feminine energy is in general passive energy. It's not active energy that about achieving, about gaining something in the outer world. No. The feminine energy as it is, it's about attracting something. So it means that being passive in your presence and getting everything, attracting everything only because of your presence. So the soft feminine actually teaches us how to become passive, like in a really good way. So I'd like to mention first positive sides and later the negative sides of this archetype of the soft femininity. So the positive sides of this archetype. As we remember, the Eve, she was again passive, obedient, in a good way, not only in a bad way. Because in relationship, if you want to build a really harmonious relationship, a really healthy relationship, you will need to man to be a leader, a provider, because again, naturally speaking, by our physiology, by how our bodies are programmed, it's natural for women to seek for a leadership in a man. So if you'll be again in the dark feminine energy all the time, you may face some difficulties in terms of relationship, in terms of building this kind of relationship. But if you're fine about it, then there is no problem really. But if you're looking for a man who is a leader, who is provider, who will build all the material around you, and you will be his inspirational muse, let's say this, you will need to step in your soft feminine more. It's also about being loving, being caring, being open, nurturing, being a leader in terms of emotional realm, in terms of your house, for example. So I just got an example of that woman makes from house a home, and man provides from his side, from the material realm. So for example, he gives money and so on, and a woman from these resources makes from a house a home. So it's all about, again, the soft feminine energy. Shortly, these are the positive sides of this archetype. The negative sides, if you will be in this energy for too long, or you won't step into your different archetypes, even the dark feminine energy, you will be too passive. What do I mean by that? Women with leading soft feminine energy can easily be just wives, just mothers, and I know it's not just because it's like a job, but still they enjoy it, and they can be easily provided by men. Any man, by the way. They don't have this idea that the man will disappear or something. It's just one of the programs from your ancestors, from the feminine side, by the way, if you have this idea. Because she knows she will be always provided by God, provided by men, I don't know, provided by the government, and so on. But if there is too much of this energy, she can become too passive. Like, maybe she has her goals in terms of work, and her soul really wants to release these wishes. For example, to be seen, to work somewhere, and so on. But because of this energy, the amount of this energy, and it's really natural feminine energy as it is, she can become way too soft. So no money, so she will have her money, not the money she can get from somewhere else, but her own money. Or she can earn not too much of the money she really wanted in the first place, and so on. So her own self-realization is really, really off. She can be easily guided by some people or some men, and if she doesn't have enough of masculine side of her or the dark feminine energy inside of her, she will agree to something she doesn't really want, or on something that doesn't really fit her. And that's why we can see the abusive type of relationship. So in general speaking, soft feminine women are naturally more kind, more loving, more caring, more nurturing. But at the same time, if they're not balanced enough, they can lack of her own opinion, her own income, her her own life in general. Because when the feminine energy is too passive, she's like a water that's flowing this way. And when she has her boundaries, her aggression, she becomes more shaped in the way she wanted to be in life. And one more thing is that women who are naturally are more soft feminine, they're connected to their mother much more than to their fathers. And I don't mean that it's always a good connection, but their mother had much more influence on their life than the father. So that's a really big sign right now. If you understood that you have more connection with your mother instead of father, it means that you are naturally a soft feminine woman. And I mean, you can change it, but your nature is about it. And it's not a bad thing, by the way. Now we talked about the soft feminine side, and let's talk about the dark feminine side, which is really attractive, which is really seductive. And it's about Lilith archetype, which I talked about a lot in my another video. The link will be below. You will find it there if you haven't seen it yet. I talked about it a lot, and I explained the history beyond that, the positive sides, the negative sides, how to embrace this energy if you really need it. So I won't talk about this a lot. I'll just say that there are also the good sides of it. There are also good sides in terms of that you will open up more your sexuality, your aggression again, that builds your boundaries, builds your life in general, the way how you earn money, how you show up in this world. And in general, these women they're not convenient for people, for the men, and for something that they don't want to be around. They easily can say no. And as we remember, the soft feminine woman, she has really a lot of difficulty to say no, to put these boundaries. Even though she can think that, yeah, like I have to say no right now, but because of like she doesn't have this energy inside of her, she doesn't have these traits, she didn't raise them inside of her, she can't. While the dark feminine woman, it's really easy for her to say no when she doesn't like you or when she doesn't like something, because again, she has really healthy aggression inside of her. And she accepted her dark sides, she accepted her shadow, some dark wishes, and she faced them in the reality. She worked on her trauma and so on. That's why she's so attractive, because she's more complete as a personality, as a woman. She has more than just a typical Eve archetype. She has the Lilith archetype. These are the good sides, but the bad sides are that she can become way too aggressive and way too arrogant. Let's say this, like she doesn't care about anything much, about your opinion much, and she will show it not in a soft way, not in a kind way, let's say this. She will show it in really aggressive way. This is in general, and her heart mostly will be closed for people, for connections, for men. And the men she will choose will be in their soft feminine energy, in their feminine energy more. I mean, it's not a bad thing that some men have more of the feminine energy in them. I can talk about this too. If you want to know more, let me know in the comments, please. I can explain it, because many people, many men and women think that feminine side in the man is something wrong, but it's not. We are all, men and women, has masculine and feminine energies inside of us. So when a man has leading feminine energy, it's not a bad thing if again he's balanced in it. But if a woman has way too much of the dark feminine energy inside of her, she will attract a man who's way too much in his feminine side. So he will be really passive, really not a leader in their relationship. She will lead and she will provide and she will do everything that usually man does naturally. He wants to do it naturally, but woman can take his place, and the roles are really mixed, and eventually it's not a good thing for the both partners. Not in terms of just relationship, but in terms of dynamics we are collectively as humankind going into. And as I said about soft feminine women and their connection to mother figure, the same thing goes with the dark feminine women and the father figure. So in their life, father had much more influence. They have more impact by the father. and that's why they are built differently. So maybe this is naturally about you and you understood it now, and I'm really happy about you if this has happened right now. But if you know that you have both of your parents, they both influence on you pretty much, it means that you have to decide what side you are in. Soft, light feminine energy or the dark feminine energy. It's only up to you. And I wanted to give an example from TV series, which is called Euphoria. And there are two girls that show us soft feminine and the dark feminine. You will see it here. So Cassie was the soft feminine woman, and Maddie was the dark feminine woman. These two archetypes, as we see, and just in general, in the movies, in the series, you will see it a lot. And by the way, they are best friends. Every soft feminine woman needs the dark feminine side, and the dark feminine woman needs her soft feminine side, because together they become more balanced. So they balance each other because they seek for this balance inside of them. And that's why we can't deny the dark feminine energy or the soft feminine energy. We have to understand what is the leading energy for us, and still try to not forget about other side that we really actually want. So what about Cassie? Who she was in this series? She was a representation of the soft feminine woman, not from much of the positive side, but more from a negative side. She was way too obedient, she was way too passive, and she was too soft, like in general. And the thing that happened between her best friend and the boyfriend, she cheated because of, again, she was way too passive. She knew that it was wrong, but she did that because she was lacking the dark feminine energy. What about Maddie? Everyone loves her because, again, the dark feminine energy is really seductive, is really attractive, is really magnetic. That's how she was. And I think in real life she's also a dark feminine woman. She represented the dark feminine energy. She was really, again, as I said, seductive, attractive, magnetic, and way too aggressive. She had her two sides together in this show. We can really see the difference between these two, and we see what sides of the femininity exist in this life. And by this example, you can also understand what attracts you more. I know we are all attracted to the dark feminine energy, yes, but maybe, again, naturally you are more a soft feminine woman, and that's fine. Again, we all need these two sides, soft feminine and the dark feminine energy. Every woman needs this too, because if we will embrace only one, we will become unbalanced. And if we'll become unbalanced, we'll see the results in our material life, which will be not good, by the way. So I hope you found this video useful. Please let me know what woman are you, and see you next time.